everybody! I'm Lily, and this is our world. I just got back from playing with my friends, and boy, did I have a good time. But now I have to finish my chores around the house. When I'm cleaning up my room and putting everything back in its place, I like to pretend that I'm putting together pieces of the International Space Station. Or when I'm picking up trash from around the house, I'm cleaning up trash from outside the ISS. Or when I'm vacuuming, I'm doing some kind of cool science research. Whoa! But to do many of those things in space, I would have to do a spacewalk. A spacewalk is when astronauts go outside their spacecraft to work or explore. And when astronauts go on their spacewalks, they have to bring all their tools with them. Here, let's watch this video I recorded from NASA TV. This is astronaut Sandy Magnus talking about tools astronauts use.
Well, we've got these people and they're in their spacesuits, they're one-person spaceships, and they need their tools. How are we going to have them carry their tools? Because you can't really carry them in your hands because our hands are kind of our feet up here. We use them to move around in. And so it turns out that they built a system that attaches to the front of the spacesuit right here, and it has all of our tools, and it looks something like this. And it goes about right here. And as you can see, it's very, very big, and there's lots of stuff on here. We've got a drill, or a pistol grip. We call it a pistol grip tool. It's like a screwdriver with a battery, so you can unfasten bolts quickly. And everything's tethered.
Do you know what a tether is? I didn't either, so I looked it up. Basically, it's something that helps hold something else in place. So it's like this big keychain. You can hook it to places like a belt, and the keys won't get away from you. Just like the tethers the astronauts use, keep their tools right where they need them.
We take extra tethers so that we can pick up things and attach them to us. We have a trash bag because you can't just throw things into the vacuum of space. You have to bring it all inside to throw it in.
Another chore I have to do sometimes is to pick up sticks and trash in the yard. But I always make sure I have on gloves so I don't hurt myself on a sharp stick, and to keep my hands nice and warm. Astronauts wear gloves too, but they're a little bit different than mine.
And the engineers had to think about this, is how to design a pair of gloves that will protect you, but yet be thin enough that you can feel what you're doing. And it turns out that gloves were one of the trickiest things to design, primarily because they were so important. But if you've ever looked at your hand and really thought about how your fingers move and all the bones and muscles and the complexity of a human hand, it's really hard to recreate that in the engineering world. And so the gloves ended up being the hardest thing to create. As you can see, the glove has a little bit different material on the hand, and that's so that we can get a little bit of a tactile feel when we're wearing the gloves.
Tactile? Hey Mom, what does tactile mean?
Tactile has to do with the sense of touch, Lily.
Oh, so I guess that means the astronauts can sort of feel whatever they're working on through their gloves. That could make things easier.
They're a little bit thinner, but they still have all of the protection on them that they need to protect us from the vacuum of space as well as temperatures. They put special heaters in there to protect our fingers. I don't know about you guys, but I always get cold hands, so I'm really glad there's special heaters in here. And they can be sized. They actually took a mold of my hand to make my gloves. It was kind of a fun experience. They took my hand and they put it in some goop and made a three-dimensional mold of my hand, and then did a bunch of measurements of all my fingers, and then they custom made the glove so that it fit my hand. And that's really how important it is to have a good pair of gloves.
So what did we learn today? We learned that astronauts use tools to do work outside the International Space Station. We learned how astronauts keep their tools from floating away into space. And we learned about how important gloves are for astronauts. Speaking of gloves, I want to make some of my own. See you next time on Our World. Hey Mom, do we have any goop?